So the original Burnley Bouldering Wall was just down the river, down that way. I understand that Chris Shepherd and maybe some other climbers had the idea to put together a training facility in Melbourne so they could stay fit and strong for their climbing in Arapiles and the Grampians. I'm not sure how long that was around, probably a few years. It was a real Melbourne staple before my time here, but at some point I understand that CityLink up above us and Parks Victoria perhaps got wind of it and didn't like the guerrilla aspect of it so much, didn't like the potential for glued-on holds and drilled holds, I guess subverting the foundations of this pretty important freeway. So they pulled it down, and it really left a gap in Melbourne climbing. There's not a lot of rock around here, and so there was a bunch of people that got together and presented an idea to Parks Victoria and to CityLink to actually build a new climbing wall for Melbourne's climbing community, and this is it.
So every 6 months or so we redo the walls. We take all the old holds off and we clean them and reset a whole bunch of new problems and traverses. But this time around we've been fortunate enough to get quite a good grant from Parks Victoria, and through this grant we've bought about 560 new holds, and as well as been able to build a heap of volumes to go with the wall. So the idea was to bring Burnley up to scratch, to make it a bit more modern, more usable, and really utilize what is there right now.
It's a Parks Victoria grant for healthy parks and healthy people. They have funding rounds about every year, I believe, and we put in a grant application a year ago here for Burnley, which got us some money to build a new path between walls 2 and 3 and some bike racks. This time, when the call for putting in grant applications came around, we thought we could probably do a little bit better, spend it on new holds. The walls here get a lot of traffic, and so the holds get polished, especially with the dirt and the sand and a lot of use. And so getting new holds that have friction, that are a bit more modern and that could really sort of revitalise the place seemed like a really good idea, and Parks was really keen on the idea, so they gave us about $4,000.
I've had quite a bit of experience setting, and I've been coming to Burnley ever since I moved to Melbourne. And through that time, I've sort of got introduced to Ben Wright, and got speaking to Ben, and he gave me a bit of control over the place in terms of giving me a key to the back of the wall, which was probably the first step in getting through the door. And through that, Ben's given me enough control to be able to get this event going and have things changed, and I've been fortunate enough to be trusted with having this done.
Once we heard from Parks Victoria that we were likely to get the money, it seemed pretty important to get some skilled and expert people around actually putting this money to good use. So I'd already done some work putting together a rough holds order, but knowing Gareth, working as a route setter and having good connections with the climbing gyms and the climbing community in Melbourne, seemed like a really good idea to get him to cast his eye over the holds and see if we were going to be ordering the right things and ordering holds that were going to suit, everyone from kids and beginners through to expert climbers. Gareth really jumped on board with the idea. Before I knew it, he was organising his friends to build volumes and organise the paint and project manage the working bee today and finalise the holds order. And so essentially he's become pretty central to the whole thing working as well as it did.
So we've decided that myself and a friend of mine, Julian, would go ahead and try and build these volumes. We've been lucky enough to get all the timber that we need, all the plywood boards donated by Macpac, which has been fantastic because they've really saved us on our budget. So we came up with a whole bunch of different designs, and we've also decided to grit all the volumes up in a very European-esque type style, which was a whole endeavour itself of putting sandpit sand in with the paint with a bit of PVA glue to stick it all together and make it really grippy, which worked out really, really well. When we were trying to create the volumes, we had to think about what other people are doing and to always build them in sets. So we'll have 3 triangles that are like long elongated triangles, and we have to make a set of them. So not just one random set, they're all going to be working together. And this then creates a really good continuity through all the problems, and you can make really good styles and techniques. It doesn't just look like a random show on the wall. Other things that we've decided to do in terms of upgrading the wall was, there's nothing else really that we decided to do to upgrade the wall, sorry about that. So today we decided that we're going to hold a boulder comp. It's quite often that all these walls are stripped down and then they're just reopened and nothing really happens with it. So seeing as we're going to put up over 50 new problems, we may as well just hold the competition. And this will also give us a really good feedback of how people will react to the new format of having more up problems or boulder problems instead of traverses, and just trying to get people into the vibe of things and seeing how it really runs. I personally think it's for the best, but the idea is that it's only 6 months. If people suddenly want to, when I get back and people want to lynch me, that's fine. We'll change it all back to traverses, but I'll do it very, very unhappily, I suppose. We would really like to thank Parks for this grant. It's really changed the life of this place. It's been fantastic. I also like to thank Hardrock, the climbing gym. They've really helped out a lot with having all the holes washed, providing all the tools and all their setters. It's been unbelievable what they've done for us. It's really good. Including as well as Macpac, who are providing all the timber. And probably the biggest thanks we really want to give to is all the people that came out and helped, and to really make this such a great community of climbers and a great place to be.
One of the unique things about Burnley is that it transforms a really dead, inactive space into a place that has interest for people that are climbers, and also just for people that don't know anything about climbing, that are walking past or cycling past. And one of the reasons I think that Parks Victoria was happy to give us this grant is that we're improving the space and looking after it and creating a community around a space that would otherwise not have anything at all attractive or appealing, and of course then could turn into a place that was repelling people away. And so the great thing about the working bee that we've had today is to see the huge number of people that have come by to help out and to participate, and also just people that are on their way past, that are stopping to see what's going on, that'll learn something about climbing, that might enjoy getting involved in it. Their kids might enjoy getting involved in it as well.